Hi, I'm Nema, also known as Nemahsis, and I'm born and raised in Ontario, Canada. I used to have issues growing up with my name, like when it came down to attendance, if we had a substitute teacher, it was always super difficult to pronounce Nemahsis. So I'd always say Emma with an N in front of it, and it was always like this long thing where I'd be like, Emma with an N in front of it. And I needed something a bit quicker, and I finally heard this song by Nicki Minaj. It goes like, oh, my nemesis, exclamation, just for emphasis, and I don't simplify, because he was simple. And I heard that, and I was like, Nemesis sounds like Nema. In grade 10 onward, I started introducing myself as Nemahsis, Nema, and it just stuck. In 3rd grade, I was standing on like a cut down tree trunk, and I was performing I'm Like a Bird for my friend Rachel. And we would just compete with each other back and forth. We were our own audience, and we never actually concluded who was better. Actually, people will be very offended that you said I'm from Toronto because no, it's totally fine. I don't mind it, but they seem to not claim where I'm from. I'm actually from a small town called Milton in Ontario, outside of Toronto. And listen, I was saying I was from Toronto for so long, and then people got mad because it's not even the greater Toronto area. So I actually live on a farm way outside of Toronto. It was wonderful. I was very secluded on a farm with my family up until now, to be honest. And I love it, and I continue to go back and visit my family. I really enjoyed Kelly Clarkson's, and I think the Breakaway album was such a significant milestone for me because my range was very low, like my register was super low, and I didn't learn how to sing high until way after that album had come out. And I would challenge myself every day after school to sing Breakaway and Because of You, and like I couldn't even hit those notes growing up, and I just kept pushing and breaking my vocal cords until I could sing that. So that song definitely allowed me to showcase my range beyond what I thought my limits were. I started on my own. It started as like a soothing thing because I was really introverted, and like making friends was really hard, and I got really anxious around a lot of people, so I'd always just be humming and singing to kind of like cope with the crowdedness of everyone around me. And then eventually I started singing louder and louder until someone was like, hey, you actually sound good. And I was like, really? And I wasn't sure if they were lying, but why would they lie to me? They're not even friends with me. And it kind of just slowly progressed from there. I had major trust issues growing up, and I just thought people were telling me I had a nice voice because they were trying to be nice. I didn't actually believe that I had a good voice until 11th grade, and this music teacher heard me singing in the hallway, and he had like pulled me aside, and he was like, was that you? And I was like, what? I didn't even know I was singing. And he was like, meet me after school. I want to try something. And I was like, okay, which sounds really creepy now, but it wasn't at all, okay? He was like a young like student teacher, and he showed me Amy Winehouse for the first time. He had heard my low, raspy like register, and he's like, have you heard of Amy Winehouse? I was like, no. And he made me go home and practice Back to Black for the talent show that was in 2 days. And that was the first time I sang with a live instrument, and that was the first time I think the world got to hear my voice the way it was supposed to be heard, I think. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, so I do sound good. Okay, it's not just a lie. I actually never considered writing music because I didn't consider myself to be pop star material, to be honest. You look on TV and you try to find a version of yourself that you can connect to, whether it's a part in a character or like a feature in a character that you could be like, okay, I kind of look like her, to like give yourself confidence or hope. But there was none of that on any of the TV shows I was watching or any of the pop stars that I was listening to. It took a while for me to get into songwriting, not until my early 20s. I didn't even consider it because what's the point of trying something if it's not made for someone like you? But then once I started, I couldn't stop. It was really scary. The main thing, it was like, I want to speak for people, but I don't want to necessarily be the one and only like savior complex that people want to paint me as. I wanted to write a song for younger me that could potentially listen to and feel uplifted, you know? You have breakup songs, you have all these things that can help you get through where you could cry, eat chips, and sing to these songs stereotypically, but there was no anthem for what I was going through and no warning for what I would be going through in my late teens. And I was like, oh, this is a missed opportunity. So when I did it, it was very confusing because people wanted to crown me and I did not want to be that. But I'm so happy that it all happened the way that it did. My next album that's going to be coming out, I talk about some more topics that connect to a broader audience. Like, I write a lot about the experience of just being a woman and what that entails. I write a little bit about love, which I haven't quite touched yet. I had this saying that I refuse to write about love because there are like thousands of songs that are written. Why would I try to write about love in a way that's probably already been written better than I could? I always said it's a waste of time, and then I ended up doing it. I wanted it to be like a biography. When you go click on Wiki, what do you see of celebrities before things happen? And you just read a little bit about them, like they grew up here, they dated this person, whatever. I kind of wanted to introduce myself to the world and touch on all the things and the emotions I went through leading up to the woman I was when releasing it. And I think I had to sum up a good 20-ish years in 6 songs. I think there's a lot of home in there. I think it feels very homey. The vibe you get is very warm, but also very naive. My EP 11 Acres hurts a lot, hence the acres, ache my heart, achy breaky. But also I grew up on an 11-acre farm, so I thought that with each acre and each step, it hurts to leave home. I just thought it was very Pisces of me to do that. We make everything so sad. If you muted the sound and you looked inside of my bedroom window, I'm jamming, and you're gonna think it's something like Dua Lipa, which sometimes I do enjoy, but no, it's like Phoebe Bridgers. It's like Funeral. I really love sad music when I'm happy. I'm probably not happy if I'm listening to not sad music. Criminal, I like to call it the straight man's ballad. Am I allowed to say that? The reason why I call it the straight man's ballad is because every time I've shown my cis straight male friends a song that's slow ballady, they're always just like, oh, nice. But this one, oh my God, the way it makes me feel. And I realized that it's such a generic love song of feeling betrayed by someone you trusted. Someone that was two-faced. Growing up, we grew up very poor, and my dad was very distant, a lot of trust issues, business-wise and everything, so he used to always tell us, oh, this is a criminal. Did you see that man, the way he acted? He's a criminal. He would have these little things about people that would make them good or bad, essentially. And I always kept those tips, and up until I was in my mid-20s, it really protected me. It worked, and then one slipped through the cracks, and it went on for a while. We were friends for a couple of years. One day, the mask was removed, and I saw everything for what it was, and I felt so betrayed. Sometimes when you lose someone that you loved, that didn't even exist, it hurts more than actually losing someone that did exist. I should have recognized, but I didn't, and it was my fault. Change your curtains. I still have the same curtains from when I was in grade 4. The same curtains. Every day I say I'm gonna change it and I don't. I wish I did it when I had time, because now every time I go home, I'm like, oh damn. I forget until I see it in front of me. I know you're probably thinking, that's not a very serious question. It bugs me. I'm 28 years old. I just want different curtains. Everything you don't want in a curtain, it's that. It's everything. I don't even think they're real curtains. I think they were bedsheets made into curtains. I don't know, but I need them gone. Mom, if you're watching.